Well, some surprising leaks have just surfaced online about Seaworld and their future additions. Please keep in mind these are leaks and not actually confirmed. Please take this all with a grain of salt. This is not confirmed. Okay, let's dive right on into it. So, the best park in the chain, Busch Gardens Williamsburg down in Virginia, is set to get probably the best coaster on this list, and that is a multi-launch shuttle coaster. I think this will be a good fit for the park. It definitely gives them probably one of the best launch coaster lineups. You're going to have a 54-inch rider height requirement, so it's definitely going to be a step up from Verbolten, which I've heard is amazing. It's also going to have a 76 mile per hour speed, which means it will be the fastest coaster in the park, which is definitely an upside. And it will have multiple launches, so definitely a bigger version of Verbolten. I think this is a good fit for this park. Like I mentioned, it really gives them a great top 3 launch coasters, and I really think it's going to add to the park. It's been a while since a really big coaster has come to this park, so it's definitely a really big draw for me. Moving on to probably the second biggest coaster on this list, this is a wooden roller coaster coming to SeaWorld San Antonio in 2020. Like I mentioned, this is set to open in 2020, probably in March or April. Even though we don't actually have any confirmed stats, this might be 100 feet tall and 50 to 55 miles per hour. They're shooting for a 44 to 48 rider height requirement, and it's going to be located in a turtle area of the park. And it seems that that's going to be a newly themed area. They're going to shoot for the longest wooden roller coaster record in Texas. And I think it's going to be a really great addition for this park. It's really too bad that this park hasn't been receiving that much more investment, but I'm really excited to see how this coaster turns out, and it's definitely an amazing fit for the park. Really excited for this one. Probably the next biggest coaster on this list is going to go to Seaworld Orlando. So I think a lot of people were expecting this coaster to get some sort of launch coaster in the future, and they were right. This launch coaster is set to have a 55 speed in miles per hour. It's going to have inversions, airtime, bank turns, and it's going to have, of course, one launch based on this rendering. However, I'm not sure. This could be 2 as well. Again, the manufacturer is not yet known. I'm going to guess SNS, but that is a total shot in the dark. The location in the park is still to be decided. I think it's going to be interesting to see how they fit this in. Okay, so the next coaster on this list isn't really new. This is RMC Gwazi. Unfortunately, we don't actually have a photo of this. It's just a photo of a Steel Vengeance animation. And we don't actually have any information besides the 48-inch height requirement. So that's really what makes me question the credibility of this source. But, it's not really that much of a surprise. I think this is basically confirming what we basically thought when we saw the Tigris announcement just a few weeks ago. Alright, looking at the last and probably least relevant on this list, that is SeaWorld San Diego in 2019. They're going to get a sort of this, it's called the Horizon. It's sort of this single rail, like one circuit model. There's a lot of controversy on whether it is a flat ride or a roller coaster. And the dynamic is actually a flat ride roller coaster. It's set to open in May of 2019, so I'm expecting an announcement pretty soon. It's going to have one airtime hill, 2 bank turns, and then 1 inversion. And this is going to be very similar to Harley Quinn, which opened this year at Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. So honestly, there's not too much here. I think a lot of people were expecting this, and even though it's not the most, it's not the biggest leak on this list, they just got a roller coaster this year, so I think it's great that SeaWorld is really trying to invest more in this park. And frankly, it's nice to see a first of its kind. Based on this animation, it's going to be on the water, which I think is just really awesome. And based on the first photo, there's going to be water effects. So if that does actually end up happening, I think that this could be awesome. This apparently was speculated about before, so I'm glad that this might actually be happening. Anyway, that wraps up what I think about SeaWorld and their 2020 and 2019 editions. I definitely think that this is really interesting, and quite frankly, I'm hoping that these leaks come true, because every single coaster on this list is looking awesome, and I really think that SeaWorld is trying to separate from their past Blackfish controversy. But it's definitely great to see SeaWorld investing so much in roller coasters, and I am personally super happy about it. So far, there's been no official announcement, but when there are, you can find out about it on Thrill Source. Be sure to like and subscribe if you're new, and we'll catch you all next time.